Good afternoon. So we've been on scene since about 10 o'clock this morning, and honestly, not much has changed since that point because this investigation still very much underway at this hour. A few of these crews have left the scene, but it is still a very busy scene. Want to step out of the way, show you exactly what's going on here behind me. This all happening at the intersection of Enfield Street and Greenfield Street. And if you take a look down Enfield Street there, you can still see that swarm of law enforcement vehicles that are still out here. We have got Hartford police on scene, Connecticut State Police still on scene, as well as the FBI. And as you mentioned, Ben, we did get that update from State Police about an hour and a half ago at this point. So here is what we know so far. Detectives from the Western District Major Crime Squad were requested this morning by the New Haven State's Attorney's Office to respond to this area here on Enfield Street for an officer-involved shooting. Now, State Police say that shooting happened just after 9 this morning, and that's when members of the Safe Streets Task Force were in the area conducting an ongoing investigation and came into contact with a known suspect. And just to give you a little background here, the Safe Street Task Force is made up of local law enforcement departments, state police, as well as the FBI. Now, we're told the task force is used to investigate more serious crimes that happen around Hartford. And here's what state police say happened next. Take a listen.
During the course of this incident, task force members came into contact with the subject of this investigation and were able to place him under arrest. At this very same time, while taking this subject into arrest, or the suspect into arrest, a secondary subject became involved in exchange of gunfire with officers here at the scene. This subject was transported to the hospital as a result of the injuries sustained during the course of the incident and unfortunately succumbed to injuries.
Now, we still do not know the relationship between the person who was arrested and the person who started shooting, and state police also say neither the Hartford Police Department nor state police were the ones to discharge their firearms during this investigation. And state police also confirming a firearm was recovered at the scene. Connecticut State Police will be taking lead on this investigation and providing findings to New Haven State's Attorney's Office. And as we come back out live to the scene here, just a big, very important note, Connecticut State Police stressing that all of this information is still preliminary and is subject to change. Of course, we'll keep you updated in the next hour with any updates we get from State Police. But for now, reporting in Hartford, Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61 News.